At surface value, EDC can seem really simple. It's the stuff you put in your pockets, right? Or I guess a bag if you don't give a fuck like me. But the further you dive deep into this, the more you start to understand it's a lot more complicated and nuanced. And you start to realize it's about how those things are actually a reflection of who you are. Some of you might remember my last EDC video where I broke down my Air City sling and how it worked for my day-to-day. And while I love that setup, things have changed. My style has evolved, my priorities have shifted, and honestly, I needed something that felt more cohesive with where I am now. And that's what led me to rethink my everyday carry. Not just as a collection of tools, but as a reflection of intentionality and design. Today, I'll be breaking down my minimal all-black EDC bag and showing you how I've leveled up my setup to something that works as hard as it looks. For me, EDC isn't about chasing trends or stuffing my pockets with random gadgets. It's about curating tools that balance design and practicality while lasting for years. Just as you evolve as a person, well, hopefully you do, your everyday carry should be evolving with you. So that means it's not static. The tools you choose to carry with you on your day-to-day should reflect where you've been, where you're headed, and where you're at now. And I bet you didn't think an EDC video was gonna get all philosophical on you, but here we are. Welcome to the Nick Pachunka channel. So let's get into it. My current setup revolves around an all-black theme with a focus on cohesive textures, high-quality materials, and intentionality. Everything here feels like a small piece of a larger whole, which is what EDC should be, a curated, seamless extension of your lifestyle. And honestly, it's a good excuse to geek over some good design. At the center of everything is the vertical sling from Grams 28. This bag changed the game for me. My old bag, it was great, don't get me wrong. It was functional, durable, and perfect for casual fits. But it leaned a little too techy for the more polished, elevated look I was trying to lean into. My new bag, it's more like the James Bond of bags. Sleek, deadly, and somehow always put together, even when you're not. The black pebbled leather is minimal, timeless, and just the right amount of elevated. Whether I'm in homeless hoodie mode going to go and pick up a Chipotle order, or let's say it's Fancy Friday, this bag fits right in. So if you're interested in this as well as any of the products mentioned in this video, head on down in the description below. You might be surprised on how affordable this thing is, because I was when I found out. But don't let the sexy design fool you. This bag is functional to its core. It has compartments that make organization effortless. For example, my car key, thanks to modern keyless entry, it lives in the pocket of my bag and I don't even need to touch it. Unlocking the car just happens like magic, and the rest of my essentials, well, everything has its place. No more digging around for my wallet or my earbuds, it's all right where it needs to be. Despite its slim profile, this sling, I don't know, are we gonna call it a messenger bag, a sling? It's not a fanny pack. I don't know, just a bag, I guess. It's a dope bag. It's not a purse. God forbid, we can't call it a purse. Anyways, it has plenty of extra room despite its slim size, so if you have any situational items, you can still fit those too. For me, that's sunglasses, a lighter, or even a cigar cutter if I'm headed out for an evening. Let's say I'm in the mood for a morning espresso. I can take a small notepad, my all-black fountain pen, and I can head to the coffee shop. I've been using this bag on the daily for nearly a year, and it still looks brand new. The pebbled leather resists scratches and wear, and the zipper, smooth as butter. Everything else aside, I gotta say my favorite thing about this bag has to be the front buckle. It looks dope, and it makes it easier to access that front pocket. Every time I use it, it feels like I'm handling something premium. And if I'm investing in a piece, it has to last, and this bag over-delivers. Soon after I got my new bag, one of the next pieces I knew I wanted to upgrade was my wallet. I wanted something that tied in a bit better and just felt a bit more premium. The black pebbled leather ties in perfectly with the bag, creating a cohesive look that feels intentional. And let's talk about subtlety for a second. There's no loud branding here, unless you look really, really closely. On the bottom right corner, you might see a Louis Vuitton logo if you look close enough. There's a reason why I'm typically not a fan of these luxury brands. It's because their designs are crazy. They have their logo plastered everywhere, and last time I checked, I'm not getting paid for your advertising. So Louis Vuitton, unless you want to start paying me, that's not how we're gonna roll. I want to get something that's subtle, that's well crafted, and it has some nice materials. And when I was thinking of what I wanted from a wallet, well, this is pretty much exactly what it was. It has some quick access stuff for cards. I can carry my cash. One complaint I do have is the card holder on the right side. These 3 cards here were a huge pain in the ass to get in and out. And honestly, it still kind of is, but it's a little bit easier now that it's worn in. I personalized it with my initials. I'm a big fan of personalizing items and making it your own. But I gotta say, one of my favorite features has to be the fact that I can put an NFC business card on this outside pocket, and my business card info is right here, easily accessible. Next up, let's talk audio. If you're an iPhone user, there's a chance you're probably rocking a pair of AirPods. And that used to be me until I decided to make the switch to some wired earbuds. Yes, you heard me right. I traded out my AirPods for some earbuds. And I made a whole video outlining this, so if you want to check that out, definitely do, but they're sick. And now that we're on the topic, let's talk about the MVP of any EDC, the phone. I'm using the iPhone 15 Pro, and in my opinion, what really sets it apart from previous iPhones is the camera. For something that's always in my pocket, the photo and video capabilities are unreal. I actually went to a month-long adventure to Peru, exploring the Amazon, hiking through the Andes, and the only camera I brought with me was an iPhone. I left my big production camera at home, so I had no bulky gear to worry about. It was just this. The results? Stunning. I was shooting incredible landscapes, capturing vibrant colors, and even shooting in ProRes log for that cinematic vibe. It wasn't just convenient, it was liberating. I could travel light, stay in the moment, and not worry about losing expensive camera gear. For a device that's already with me every day, it's hard to beat how versatile and reliable this thing is. One thing I'm regularly getting questions about is my phone case. I actually picked this thing up so that way I could use it on the adventure I was telling you about, because it makes the phone look low-key. Sure, under the hood we got the nice like titanium gray finish and everything, because it's sick, right? But slap on the case, you can't even tell. And that's great when you're traveling to countries and areas that you might not know are safe or not. So that way no one's looking at your phone going, wow, that's a fancy new phone. I want it, right? It covers up the cameras in a cool way that it's like all protected. It's grippy on the sides. It's lightweight. The buttons are clicky. That's always a must on a case. And guess what? The thing's like frickin' $20. So it's killer. I love it. I've dropped this thing probably 1,000 times. Still haven't broken it yet. So cheers to that. Now let's jump into the tools. First up, the Benchmade Bug Out. This knife is a classic in the EDC community for a reason. It's lightweight, durable, and versatile. Whether I'm opening packages or cutting loose threads, it's my go-to. And yes, it's all black to match the aesthetic because obviously I have a brand to protect here. Next is the Orbit Key key holder. No more jingling keys announcing my arrival like I'm Santa Claus in July. This key holder keeps it classy, which is more than I can say for myself most days. The black sartorial leather matches the bag and wallet perfectly. And it even has a built-in multi-tool with a bottle opener, even though I'm like rarely drinking beer. I'm more of a whiskey guy myself. Lastly, buried deep in the bag is this super tiny charging cable. It's a 6-in-1 or something crazy, so it has every connector you would possibly need. Whether it's yourself or someone else, you're covered. It's simple, reliable, and fits perfectly into the all-black theme. Next up, let's talk about my everyday watch of choice, the Seiko SKX 007J. Yes, this thing is freaking legendary. Back when I bought it, I had no idea what I was getting myself into. I bought this because I think it looked dope, not because of the hype or whatever. I had no idea, right? It was just a clean looking watch at an affordable price. Back then, I had a black NATO strap for it, and it looked great, but it was a bit too casual for the situations when I wanted to dress up a bit. So that's why I went and got a stainless steel band. I'm getting asked all the time, like, yo, what stainless steel band is that? That thing looks sick. So again, product links down in the description below. Everything I mentioned in this video will be down there to check it out. So back to this band, I think it ties it all together really nicely. It fits perfectly, it looks super nice. I I can wear it up, I can wear it down. It has a really simple clasping mechanism, so it's easier to take on and off. It's just a good looking watch. It's rugged, reliable, and timeless. I don't know if you can really call a watch timeless if it keeps the time, though, unless it's not a functional watch. You get my point. Even though it's not technically all black, it does have a black face, or dial, or whatever the hell it's called. I'm not super technical when it comes to watches. It does the cool little, the clicky thing when I rotate the bezel. And honestly, when I get bored, I just kind of do that sometimes. Anyways, back to the color. I think black and silver looks really good together. So with the all black EDC, the silver jewelry, right? I think it's a good little combo. So if you're interested in me talking more about watches or even kind of like jewelry in general, so let me know down in the comments below if that's something you'd be interested in me talking about. So that's my minimal all black everyday carry bag. Hopefully this video inspired you to think a little bit more intentionally about the things you do carry with you or don't carry with you, because ultimately I want you to be intentional about all this, right? I want you to think, do I really need to bring this with me? Or is this something that's an essential that I do want to have with me? Those essentials can stay in your bag. And that way, if you ever need to leave the house real quick, you got everything you need and you don't need to worry about it, right? Let's say there's a situation where you're like, you know, I could take this with me, but I don't want to put it in my pocket. A bag will get you covered just for that. The point I'm trying to make here is bags are freaking dope. And if you're worried about what people will think, well, screw them, right? I'm happy that bags have become a little bit more popular with men these days. I've been rocking one for years. And sure, I've gotten a couple questions going like, yo, what's in your bag? Why do you have a bag? And it's like, I think it's convenient. That's ultimately what this comes down to. And at the end of the day, you got to do what makes you happy. What makes me happy is having an all black aesthetic, having all the textures match with the black pebble design, having things that feel nice, that are high quality, that are premium, that'll last me a while. These are the things that make me happy, and that's ultimately what matters. My setup might be too fancy for you. My setup might be too cheap for you. And that doesn't matter, because guess what? It's what works for me. And ultimately, that's the only thing that matters. It makes me happy, and I want you to do what makes you happy, right? Be intentional, be thoughtful, and fuck the haters. And with that, I'm signing off. Nick Pachunka, out.